106.3 FM, The Big One, presents the Coach Randy Frazier Show with your host, Brian Good. Every Thursday, we present the coach of the Mountain Lions talking about the next big game. And now, here's Brian Good and Coach Randy Frazier.
Hello, Mountain Lion fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the Coach Randy Frazier Show, coming at you from Sauced Pizza, Pasta, and Salad. I'm with the head man, Coach Randy Frazier. Coach, thanks for coming out.
Oh, it's good to see you. Great to be here at Sauced. We appreciate them having us down.
Yeah. Good week, Coach. Starting out 3-0. Big victory against the Paris Greyhounds this Friday night here at home. Starting out 3-0 for only the third time in the last 20 years for the Pineville Mountain Lions.
Well, it was. It was a big win for us. I think out of the four, we were 0-4 as a school against Paris. And, they beat us last year. And, to come out and win in dominating fashion like we did, we feel real good about it.
Coach, it did not take long, as you said, dominating. Did not take long. It only took about 10 seconds or so before Scooby Morris ran one back on the opening kickoff. And the way the game played out, that was pretty much it. That was sealed the deal from the get-go.
It did. Anytime you get your offense moving like that, to go up 6 on the opening kickoff, we feel great about it. We do. It helped our offense, get into a rhythm instead of pressing to get down. So, when that happens, it's wonderful.
Coach, you came out with I think the final tally was 47-14, big victory against the Greyhounds, like you said, the first one ever against Paris. So that was a huge victory for you guys. But you took it into the half with a 27-6 lead. You had some scores from all over the place. Kobe Frazier had a couple of runs. You had the Scooby Morris return for kickoff. You had a Reese Capps almost midfield touchdown run. And just all over the place offensively as far as stats go and as far as players and big-time plays. Wasn't small little chunks. You had some big plays in that first half.
We did, and we've got a lot of kids that can score. Folks look at us and say, Kobe and Scooby do most of our scoring. Well, we got some other kids can score too, and Reese is one of them, and he gets loose, he can run well, he does things well, Caldwell, he can score. So we feel good about the folks that are scoring. We were very proud of our offensive line, the way they blocked and opened up some holes.
If it wasn't for those boys, and we talked about them last week, if it wasn't for those buffet busters you got up from the boys that like to eat, if it wasn't for them opening up holes and creating holes, and even some of your receivers and even ends coming out and making downfield blocks for you. If it wasn't for those guys, your backfield wouldn't be able to have near as many yards as they did.
We've played the last 3 weeks and people are putting 8-9 in the box, and folks know what that means. They get up there, they dare us to throw the football. And I was proud of the way we threw the ball the other night. I think we threw 8 times, 4 completions, 3 completions maybe, but we had one call back, which shouldn't have happened. We had a touchdown pass call back, and that was about 40 yards, I think. And then we threw the ball well out to Landon Couch, and he made some catches. So, that phase of the game was coming on too. We was loosening them up a little bit, and that just turned it loose for running backs.
Second half, we did end up with a running clock in the second half of action during the fourth quarter as we got deep into the ball game. I'll be honest, this was one of the games preseason that I had circled because they're defending district champions in their district. They always seem to have a good squad up there in Paris. They very seldom have a rough patch up there. And this was a game that I had scheduled. The experts, the so-called experts, had Pineville by 8 on the line. But you ended up coming out 47-14. Playing that dominant against a Paris team, I was very impressed Friday night.
Well, I was proud of our kids. They unloaded the bus with athletes, and Paris will.
Yeah.
Now their numbers were down from last year a little bit. They graduated 8 to 10 seniors, I think, and this year they're struggling to get kids out. I think they had 22, 23 kids, and that's one of the things. But we can't look at their numbers being down because we jumped on them early. They were fresh, we were fresh, and I was proud of our kids for that. And that is one of the things I talked about for the last 2 weeks. We got to come out. We have to play in the first quarter. We had to play in the second quarter. And when you're playing good teams, and by doing that, you're going to put yourself with a chance to win a football game.
And you're talking about how many they dressed. They didn't dress many at all. It was right around 20, 22, like you said. And they were right down below us because we were on the visitor sideline calling the game Friday night. And first half, it wasn't that bad. And I even saw some comments from you that the first half they were going toe-to-toe with you because they weren't winded yet.
Right.
But in that third and fourth quarter, you saw what was happening when you have to go both ways and special teams, right, because you had players down there, and I started feeling sorry for them, Coach, to be honest. They were holding their backs, holding their necks, holding their knees and ankles, and it's hard for a kid like that to go both ways and special teams all night long.
It is. It's tough. It's tough with the numbers, and I talked to Coach Washington about that, and he said that he felt good with his middle school program, that they're going to get those numbers back up. And it's always a great game for us at Pineville to play Paris because, like you said, year in and year out, they got a good program. So, we felt good about it. And there were several kids on that team, a lot of kids on that team that can play. They had some athletes, a big running back, Nut Barber kid. He was a monster. But I credit our defense a little bit, I really do, because we came out and we were very physical and we hit them, and we continued to do that throughout the game.
Talking about defense, when you look at that, Coach, I think the defensive line was named player of the game. Were you happy with that? Do you think they earned that?
I do. They played extremely well, and senior Dylan Morris led those stats with Dylan did, and he done an outstanding job on that line with 3 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, 7-8 tackles total. And when you get that kind of pressure, and people are trying to pass, it's always great. We have a pick 6, and defense played well. That's the first time our defense has scored all year, and so I was very proud of them.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job of just putting a lot of pressure on Puckett, their quarterback, all night long. It seemed like he was scrambling, getting rushed out of the pocket all night, having to throw a lot of errant passes that probably wouldn't be typical if he wasn't getting a lot of pressure.
Right.
And he had the athletes, and I did notice that something that they didn't go to, speaking of Puckett and his passing, something that they went to a little bit, but they didn't keep going back to the well, was that little screen across the middle of the field, and they connected on that every time they threw the ball. Were you having trouble defending that, or were you just playing prevent at that point?
We weren't really playing prevent. Anytime you're in a 4-3 defense and cover 2, cover 4, the middle's susceptible. It is. We only have one guy sitting in the middle to cover high-low there, and it's tough on him. That middle linebacker has to do a lot of that, and it gets tough on him. And we had seen all the previous film in their previous games that they were throwing outs. They were trying to get to the sideline. So we were prepared for it, and we said if they continue to go across the middle, and if we were in trouble, we would have changed a little bit. But we felt like their threat was number 3, and again, I apologize, don't know his name, but on out routes and out and up and what we call wheel routes, and he had tons of speed. So we were trying to shut him down, and I think we did a pretty good job.
Was that Folsom? Was that his name?
It might have been. He was an athlete.
He's just a freshman.
Yeah, he's an athlete.
So the future is very bright for Paris. If they got that middle school program like you were talking about, Folsom is just a freshman and was one of their key contributors. In a year or two, I don't know if I'd put them on the schedule for that Laurel Bowl, Coach.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're going to be, and they'll rebound. They will. Small school cycles, we've talked about them before. It goes in cycles, and there's not too many people that don't understand that. So they'll be back. Paris has got a good program, good tradition, and they'll be back.
We talked about the defense. Your defensive line was named collectively defensive player of the game, and your offensive player of the game in the Laurel Bowl was Randy Frazier. He came out with 147 yards and 3 touchdowns. We're going to talk to him here in just a little bit about that.
We sure are, and he does a great job. Him and Scooby, Devin Morris, they do a great job. We've talked about him in the past. It's a great 1-2 punch, and he won a player. I think he scored 3 times, 147 yards, and had 160-yarder called back. Yeah. So it's that could have been been well over 200 yards again for him. Haven't had a chance to look at the state stats, but I know both of these guys that we're going to talk to tonight are leading and rushing in the state, in the top 10. And, I'm happy for them. That's great for them. It shows that our line is blocking. We're starting to figure some things out on the offensive line, and I think Friday kind of showed that.
And the other kid that you said we're going to talk to is Scooby Morris. He had almost 100 yards, had a score rushing, and then he had a return touchdown. So he did a great job.
He did. He had an opening kickoff, ran back, and then he had a punt return. He got back down to the 20, almost another break, and put you in great field position. So I think total yards he had well over 300 maybe total, yards, and he does a great job. But I'm going to let you talk to those guys, and I'm glad they're out here. I think it's great. I hope they're having as much fun with this and football as I am.
I'm having a blast with this. I ain't gonna lie to you. We are now joined by senior Mountain Line running back Randy Frazier. And Kobe, thanks for coming out and being with us tonight. Yes, sir. MVP of the Laurel Bowl. How's it feel?
It feels good. I've not experienced some of these things before as much as I have. I mean, especially something like this I haven't got to do. So it's something new for me to do.
How does it feel to be at Pineville this year and start them out with a 3-0 record and know that you're a big contributor to the success of Pineville this year?
It feels totally different from the size of school that I've come from to the smaller school that I'm in now. But I do like it and enjoy it. And it feels good to come down and start out the season being 3-0 at a different football team and different coaching staff. And I do enjoy some of the coaching staff. I appreciate every one of them for pushing me and accepting me like I was already there for the first 3 years of my career, but I enjoy it a lot.
We're glad to have you down here. It's a joy to see you out there every Friday night running the ball. On the season, you're over already 500 yards. I think at last look, you were leading the Class A state rushing yardage per game. Is that something you strive? Is that a goal of yours to maybe lead state Class A this year, or is that just something if you can do that while your team's winning, that's just a bonus?
It's sort of both. It is a bonus, and I do set goals for myself to be at least in the top 3 or 4. Because when I was at Bell, I was in like the top 10 most of the time, and I want to kind of increase it each year. And it feels pretty good to be top in the state every year that you play.
Are you happy with your line right now? Are they opening up those holes for you?
Yes, they're improving a lot from the first game we played, and our defensive line and defense has improved a lot. Especially in this last game we had, they stepped up and done what they're supposed to do, and each one done their own job, and that's what it takes. When you do your own job, another person does their job, it'll be a successful night.
How's it feel to be 3-0 right now? You all cracked the top 10. You're ranked number 10 in the state of Kentucky in Class A right now. How's the atmosphere around the program right now? Are the boys in the hallway? Are you getting a lot of excitement built up around the team?
Yeah, it feels good. There's a lot of excitement. People are bragging and saying, like, we're good, like we're doing good, and to keep it up and have a successful season and fight everything that we can fight.
All right, every player has an imitation of their coach. Can you do a Coach Randy Frazier impersonation for that camera right there? Go ahead. He'll give you a pass. There's a pass right now. Can you do a Coach Frazier impersonation?
I can't say
it. Is it not PG? It's probably not PG rated, so we're not going to go ahead and do that. But Kobe, are there anybody you want to give a shout out to before we close out this first half of the show?
I want to give a shout out to Coach Frazier for allowing me to come down and putting me in the spot, making me feel like I'm one of the Mountain Lions and not putting me off to the side, setting me back and accepting me for what I do and do my hardest.
No family, girlfriend, no pretty little girl hanging on the side that you want to give a shout out to right there? I know there is.
Yeah.
Star running back, you got to have that.
I do want to give a shout out to my girlfriend, Caitlin Henderson, for coming and showing up when at least expected, saying that she wasn't going to be able to make it, and showing up to the last few games. And hopefully she'll be there the rest of the game for me.
Well, Kobe, good luck on the rest of the season. We'll be there, every single one of them, cheering you guys on. All right?
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. When we return on the Coach Randy Frazier Show, we'll have Scooby Morris and we'll have Coach Frazier back on the show as we preview Eastridge this coming Friday night.
There's no other carrier that knows and provides service for these mountains like Appalachian Wireless. Appalachian Wireless is local all the way to its roots. We're owned and operated by locals from Eastern Kentucky. Now, Appalachian Wireless is expanding its reach to serve those in Bell, Knox, and Whitley counties. Appalachian Wireless will be offering their dependable network, retail storefronts, and exceptional customer service in the near future. Just a few of the many reasons Appalachian Wireless proves better service and bigger savings.
I said, hey, the time has come to throw the work away and having some fun. Hey, the time is now. Life's for living, let me show you how. Life's for living, let me show you how.
Your first set of wheels didn't come with complications, or strings, or hassles. It can be that way again. Tire Pros. Hassle-free, guaranteed.
D&D Tire Pros, 2433 US 25E in Middlesboro.
Howard Law Firm. We might be young, but we are fierce and proud of it. If you have a problem, we are the solver. No matter your struggle, leave it to us. Whatever you're facing, we can handle it. Howard Law Firm. You name it, and we've got your back.
Welcome back to the Coach Randy Frazier Show. We're now joined by sophomore running back and defensive back Scooby Morris. And Scooby, thanks for coming out and being with us.
Thanks for having me out.
3-0 on the season right now. How's that feel?
Feels pretty good.
How's the atmosphere around school right now?
Good. I mean, you got your people that's always going to hate on you. I mean, regardless how you're doing. But then you got your fans and stuff always showing you love.
There's always going to be some bandwagons throughout life. Whenever you're successful, you're going to have some people try to jump on. And when you hit that valley, but Pineville's always been really good about supporting their athletes. And are you seeing that in the community right now?
Yeah, a lot of love from the community.
330 total yards of just rushing yards right now. That doesn't include that opening kickoff you had and all the special teams you've had, big time plays this year. You in the top 10 in the state right now in rushing. Is that something you're aiming for, or if you get it while Pineville's winning, that's just a bye thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to shoot for top 5. I want to be the best.
Yeah.
I mean, as a sophomore, it feels good, but yeah.
Well, I watched you some last year whenever I called some games for the Mountain Lions last year, and I could just tell as a freshman, and you were a lot smaller compared to now. You've hit the weights, but I could tell that you were a good athlete, and Pineville had something special in you, and I'm just glad that you're there at Pineville and doing a great job for it. What did you think about the Paris game Friday night? How did you feel going in? And are you surprised at the outcome that you all blew them out like you did?
Honestly, I think we was going to beat it by a couple touchdowns just because the way we was coming out. after I took that kick back, I was like, it's over. We gonna be.
Yeah.
I mean, but we just gotta go out there and play hard.
How do you feel about Eastridge? Have you got to watch any game film on them?
I mean, it's homecoming. I mean, we should come out and play.
I asked your buddy, Kobe, in the first half of the show if he had a Coach Frazier impersonation. Can you look at that camera and give a Coach Frazier? I know this guy's got one.
I ain't got one, no.
You don't have one?
No.
Okay. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to right there? Do you want to holler at him?
My mom and Coach Frazier and Selena for always supporting me and helping me with everything I do. Helping me make the best decisions in life.
Anybody else you want to holler at?
All my fans and supporters, thanks for showing me love.
Now, Kobe has a lady on his heart.
Hey.
You're the kind of guy, I bet, that you're just all over the place.
Yeah.
So is there any final words you want to say before we get you out of here and start talking to Coach Frazier again?
Come watch us this Friday at home, 7:30. Be there.
All right, Scooby, thanks for coming out and being with us, man. We're now rejoined with head coach Randy Frazier. And, Coach, we went ahead and talked about the big win against Paris on Friday night. Let's go ahead and jump in and talk about the East Ridge Warriors, who's coming into this ball game with an 0-2 record with losses to Phelps 47-6 and Betsy Lane 46-24.
Yeah, they're struggling a little bit. I don't know their coach. They called us, wanted to play. We had one game to schedule on the end, and they said they would come down. So we scheduled the game and we play. So, and most of our schedule, 90%, 95%. I think we only had one game to schedule that Coach Elam had scheduled it, before he resigned. So, but we did have the one slot, and so we needed a homecoming game. So we scheduled them, and they agreed to come down the first year. And they're from Pike County, and I told people, and I think we talked about it a little bit, they're a consolidation of 3 schools, I think, up there. 2 of them were basketball schools, but Elkhorn City, when I was in high school, and I know that's ages ago, but Elkhorn City had a very respectable program. They did. They won a state championship in the 70s, I think, in AA, and so they had a really respectable program at the time. And when I went through school, we played Elkhorn City. So, now and I've got a good friend at East Ridge, Randy McCoy. He was assistant basketball coach at Moorhead State under Wayne Martin when I was at Moorhead. He's originally from up there, so he called, wanted to play, and so we scheduled.
Like you said, they've not been a team very long. Just been having football as East Ridge since 2002, and in this being their 18th season, they only have 50 wins overall. Right. So you could tell from that, and as your statement said, when they consolidated with 3 schools, 2 of them being basketball schools, where their efforts are being pipelined.
Right, and it is, and that's that's a shame. But they're working hard. They're like all the schools in our area. They're working hard to win. Their kids want to play, just like our kids want to play, so we go out and we play them all the same. And we've talked about this before, but we feel like every game, it doesn't matter who we play. I don't care how good they are or how bad they are or if they are whatever they are. We concentrate on us.
Yeah.
We've got to get better than we were the week before. And to do that, we grade against ourselves. We're not going to grade against opponents. So we grade against ourselves, and if we get better than we were last week, then it was successful for us, we feel like, to play any game on Friday night.
What you just said kind of relates to what I heard someone say recently, is we can't focus on Jesus if we're worried on what everybody else around us is doing.
Right.
And that's kind of the way you're doing. We can't focus on Pineville Mountain Line football and what we're supposed to be doing if we're worrying what Williamsburg's doing Friday night and what Lincamp's doing Friday night.
Absolutely. We're going to play them one at a time, and we're going to grade against ourselves. We're going to try to get better every week. It doesn't matter who you play. You can get better each week if you work hard during practice and go out and do things in the game and strive for perfection.
Have you got to see a lot of game film on Eastridge?
We did. You know, we trade films. We've got to see their last 2 games. Phelps, Phelps got a much improved team this year. I think they're 2-0. They beat a couple people very good. They're doing a great job at Phelps getting that program turned around. And then last week they played Betsy Lane, and actually I think they were leading at the halftime each ridge. So their wing tee offense, always confusing when you run a wing tee. So, you know, it's going to be a challenge no matter who you play. And our challenge is to come out and build on what we did last week.
How's practice been this week, Coach, leading up to this week's game?
We've had a busy week at school. A lot of people don't understand, you know, these kids are in the academic side as well. Yeah. We had our first open house. Our report cards come out. All of these things that we do at school. So we felt like we had a great week of practice. The heat, I can't believe the weather this week. At one point we had to take shoulder pads off, with our heat index and things like that. So I feel like we had a great week of practice. I feel like they're focused, and we strive every day to remind them that we're playing to improve on our performance of last week.
Everybody clean for Friday's game?
Well, we lost Noah Caldwell. We had an ejection last week. We lost Noah. He's going to be missed, both sides of the football. Sophomore running back and linebacker, outside linebacker. Outside of that, everybody's good. We thought Keaton Thompson would may be back this week, but we're gonna hold him. I think Byron, our trainer, Asher, is going to hold him one more week, so we won't have Keaton back until next week. But other than that, we're ready to go.
Has practice been solid? Has everybody been focused this week at being homecoming week? And a lot of, I don't want to say distractions, especially when they're high school kids academically. They're student athletes. Right. Student comes first. But has a lot of the stuff been kind of distracting to them, trying to focus on academics and trying to get ready for homecoming?
It is, and I guess I'm a little different than Coach Elam was in the past. I don't think that they were able to walk the homecoming attendance. I think you go through high school one time and we turn them loose. If they want to escort somebody, escort somebody. If they want, I think they need to enjoy their homecoming, and I think they're mature enough. Our kids are mature enough to handle both. And when it comes 3:15, 3:30, and it's time for practice, our kids turn a switch, and here we go. We're going to go practice, and if not, there's consequences. But they do. I'm proud of them. They do a great job when it's 3:30, flipping the switch to practice, and then when practice is over, they're back, doing their kid
doing
things.
Whatever 15, 16-year-old kids do.
Exactly.
Coach, any final comments before we close out this week's Coaches Show?
Well, I just want to thank the people of Pineville, our administration, our board, anything we need, Thursday night meals, our parents come and do a lot of the cooking for our kids on Thursday night. Our community helps us on Friday with feeding our kids. The excitement with our cannon we brought out last week.
Great.
And, the fire truck was out there, and we've got folks, our local politicians and our local city administrators, and it's wonderful to see that small town, small school atmosphere where everybody is on the same page and everybody is playing for one goal and to win and bring some tradition. And this place has tradition. Let me not say that. Yeah. They introduced me to that quite big. But I want to thank all of those folks that do those things for these kids. That's something they'll never forget, what they got last Friday night on that field with cannons and fire trucks and fans, and we're excited.
And half the defensive unit can say they were player of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really quickly, can we get the lady that made this possible for us here tonight?
Sure.
Can we get Gina in and let her talk to us? Come on over here. You made this possible for us on this week's Coaches Show. And Gina, we would just like to thank you for being a sponsor of Pineville Mountain Lion Football, for our Facebook Live feeds, and for having us here tonight, feeding us and taking care of us.
Thank you so much, Brian. We are so blessed to be a part of this community. I mean, we have our kids in Pineville School. We're a part of this community, and they have supported us. So it's the least we can do. Anything about kids and education, we're on board. So. And
we all love sauce. I'm not just saying that. We love it, and that's why I've went up a size in T-shirts since I've moved back to Pineville.
Well, that's where you need to move into the sundress. dangerous. It's a lot more flexible.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But you were, you've all been a great asset to the community. We thank you and Mike so much for being a part of these young kids' lives and helping them and just supporting them.
Oh, Brian, you have given us too much credit, but we are so happy to be here. This is the best move we ever made for our family, so we love it here.
And you said that tonight was your closing, the night that you were manning the station, and you said that it was the D team.
Yes.
I think Mike's the D team. This is the A team right here.
That's right. You heard it there, folks. That's right. Okay, but don't ask me anything critical and important. I mean, you did see me handle a boil water advisory, but
you handled that professionally. Well, Gina, thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian.
And you've been watching the Coach Randy Frazier Show. Hopefully you can tune in and be with us this Friday night on 106.3 and Facebook Live and on YouTube as the Mountain Lions play host to East Ridge at 7:30. We'll see you next week right here on the Coach Randy Frazier Show.
You've been watching the Coach Randy Frazier Show, only here on 106.3 FM, The Big One. Make sure to see the big game on our social media page, The Big One, 106.3 FM, WRIL. Copyright WRIL, The Big One. Music provided by Richard Harvey. Dynamics.
There's no other carrier that knows and provides service for these mountains like Appalachian Wireless. Appalachian Wireless is local all the way to its roots. We're owned and operated by locals from Eastern Kentucky. Now, Appalachian Wireless is expanding its reach to serve those in Bell, Knox, and Whitley counties. Appalachian Wireless will be offering their dependable network, retail storefronts, and exceptional customer service in the near future. Just a few of the many reasons Appalachian Wireless proves better service and bigger savings.
I said, hey, the time has come to throw the work away and having some fun. Hey, the time is now. Life's for living, let me show you how. Life's for living, let me show you how.
Your first set of wheels didn't come with complications, or strings, or hassles. It can be that way again. Tire Pros. Hassle-free, guaranteed.
D&D Tire Pros, 2433 US 25E in Middlesboro.
Howard Law Firm. We might be young, but we are fierce and proud of it. If you have a problem, we are the solver. No matter your struggle, leave it to us. Whatever you're facing, we can handle it. Howard Law Firm. You name it, and we've got your back.